What it do, Dream Team? It's your boy D Neal back with another reaction video, guys. Here we are with Americans living abroad. Why did you choose to leave America? I'm very intrigued. I feel like I know a lot of the answers, but I'm intrigued about hearing something new. I know healthcare, that's probably the biggest reason. Other than that, you got food, you got safety, you can walk everywhere in a lot of places, whereas America's made mainly for cars and public transport. There's a lot of things. I'm intrigued to hear what they got to say, though. Before we jump in, subscribe to the channel, ring notification bell, give the video a thumbs up so it gets suggested. Social media, Patreon, all up top. You're subscribed to any of it. Follow the links in the description. All you gotta do is hit the link, follow me, talk to me. Love talking to you guys, and I'm human. I talk back. What we got?
I've tried to film this so many times and I keep running out of time. I'm trying to keep this as brief as humanly possible, but there are literally just so many things I could say on this topic. I digress. Here are all the reasons that I am desperate to not live in America. The one that brought me here was that I really didn't want to do grad school in America, and there are tons of reasons for that, but that's kind of what got me here. Another huge one was, the obvious healthcare. I was working as a barista, and that's not the type of job that you get healthcare through your job, but I also just didn't really want to live in a society where my ability to access healthcare was tied to a job at all. That honestly freaked me out. It was an anxiety I felt frequently and with me during the day, even when I was not ill. So I was honestly truly desperate to move somewhere where there was socialized healthcare. That was big top of the list reason. I don't know if I'm allowed.
I knew that'd be the number one reason. I agree with it. That would be the number one reason, because that is ridiculous. So definitely got healthcare up there. What else you got?
Somewhere where there was socialized healthcare. That was big top of the list.
And grad schools, healthcare and grad school, because that's ridiculously expensive here.
Desperate to move somewhere where there was socialized healthcare. That was big top of the list reason. I don't know if I'm allowed to say this word on TikTok, but I was scared.
What'd she say?
But I was scared.
I still don't know.
I know it's a political topic. I disagree with, and it really freaked me out that anyone could just have access to them. I was living in New York, and I'm from San Francisco, so my exposure to them was pretty minimal. But just the fact that anyone could have them, that someone could come to my school and use one, or my place of work. I worked kind of in a touristy area, literally, it was scary. I know that some people don't deal with that anxiety, but it was an anxiety again that I felt frequently living in America, the fear of something happening to me in that way, and then ironically probably being in debt from the medical bills because of that. It was just, I didn't like it. I'm never wanting to feel that way again. I feel like I'm running out of time, so I'm trying to go fast. Also, the infrastructure is just not as good. Even in New York, I feel like the subway is just falling apart, and I love New York, don't get me wrong, but infrastructure in even the smallest European city is fucking better than in most places in America. It's so built for cars. I don't like cars. I wanted a place where the trains and there was just care for that. I also
the infrastructure here, like I said, definitely America's definitely built for cars. You can't just, it's more easily to travel places in a car than on your feet. And yeah, guns, I can definitely understand her anxiety. I don't have that anxiety, but I do understand people that have that anxiety. I think there should be stricter gun laws, and I can understand why people would feel unsafe with anybody just being able to have access to a gun. So that is a fear that I understand why a lot of people have.
A place where the trains and there was just care for that. I also, admittedly, I do feel the stereotype that Americans are kind of in their own bubble, and that there's not as much knowledge about wider world affairs, or if there is, it's through the lens of how it affects you as an American and your perspective on it, and that's the perspective to have because it's coming through the American lens. I think that's a fair stereotype, and I wanted to break out of that. I think I was absolutely guilty of it when I lived there, and I wanted to expand my own worldview and just how I view things. I think there's a whole world out there, and it's important, if you're able to do that. I really thought I was going to be able to get through my whole list in this time period, and I clearly wasn't. If anybody wants a part 2, I can get through the rest of the list, or I can expand on any of the things I mentioned. But yeah, that's kind of the gist of it. Those are big ones for me. It's not for me.
One of the big
That's
reasons
understandable.
why I decided to move abroad with my husband was because of noise tolerance. I know it sounds really wacky, but let me explain. So, both my husband and I are musicians. I play piano and I sing opera, and he's also a singer, and he also plays a bunch of instruments, including the trombone, which is a really, really, really loud brass instrument. In America, people don't really have tolerance for noise, especially in nice neighborhoods. If someone thinks you're being too loud, they'll call the cops, they'll call management, and it's just a pain in the butt trying to practice. It's also really annoying having to drive to school to practice whenever I feel like practicing. Which is why we had such a great experience while we were living abroad. We were really able to practice at all times of the day and night, and no one would say anything. I think it also has a lot to do with how houses are built in the US. Usually we use wood, and we do this so that we could construct again, rebuild, and you could hear everything through these walls.
Family members.
That's facts. I definitely understand that her and her husband are both musicians. Noise tolerance is definitely a thing here. That I definitely, especially in nice neighborhoods, 100%, they're gonna call the cops. They're gonna call management. Some people are gonna come knock on your door and just tell you they're too loud. And yes, the way she said we build houses with wood, you can hear literally everything. You can hear everything. So I think it's dope she got to go abroad. Now her and her husband practice day, night, morning, afternoon. Don't matter. Anytime. Anytime. Definitely rock with it. Keep it rolling.
Construct again, rebuild, and you could hear everything through these walls.
Family members ask me a lot why I moved out of the U.S. And to Sweden. Not friends my age, because I think they kind of get it, but family, they ask sometimes why I moved away, and there's actually a lot of reasons, but like, you don't need that many. This should be more than enough.
Yeah, the Texas school shooting was definitely a tragic event. But all school shootings, you see so many happen in America that it's just saddening to see young kids being killed for absolutely no reason at all. These innocent children. It's sad, even if it was a reason. It's sad to see any life being taken like that. That's just before it's their time. That's just a tragedy in itself. And I feel like it's getting to the point where people become numb to these things, and it's like if it's happening so much that people are becoming numb to it, like that's a humongous problem. A humongous problem.
Should be more than enough. Fuck off.
So why did you leave the United States of America? Since moving to Poland, that is probably the number one question I get asked the most. And it's actually pretty simple. My grandparents, they're still living here in Poland, in Ostrołęka, which is not too far from Warsaw. I also think about all the times that I've shared with them in my childhood and how I'm just so thankful and lucky that they're still alive. My favorite memory, I think, is when my grandmother was laughing so hard that her dentures came out of her mouth, and that just made us laugh even harder until our stomachs hurt. So it's these simple little moments that we've shared that just make living here worthwhile, and I love being able to visit them, and I'm very distraught by this pandemic because I haven't been able to see them for a really long time. But that just makes me appreciate my family even more, and I can't wait to see them soon.
I've had a lot of conversations.
I love that. So she had family. Her grandparents. Their grandparents sound absolutely awesome, and I think it's awesome that she got to move there to be close to them, so that she's able to visit them a lot more. That's incredible. I love that one.
It makes me appreciate my family even more, and I can't wait to see them soon.
I've had a lot of conversations recently about leaving America.
As someone who left the United States 6 months ago and has no regrets yet looking back, I would say honestly do it. The fear of the unknown and the fear of the what if, fear of what other people might think is less scary than staying stagnant in a place that's no longer serving you. About a year ago, I was reflecting on my life and realized I wasn't too happy with the trajectory of the United States. So I realized I didn't really have anything to lose in trying something new and moving abroad. It's not as difficult as you may think it to be, and you actually don't need as much money as you think. Also, a lot of countries make it relatively easy for Americans to obtain long-term visas or even residency. All you really need to do is make a plan, do a bit of research around what part of the world you want to live in, what type of lifestyle you want to have, and then set yourself up with a budget and a way to earn income when you're abroad. What lies on the other side of this fear of the unknown, fear of the what if, is honestly a world of opportunities, a greater sense of freedom and happiness. And honestly, I'd recommend it to anyone who's considering leaving the United States.
That's super dope. That's super dope. Like she said, it makes no sense to stay in a place that's not serving you anymore. So for her, she didn't like the trajectory of the United States. She didn't like the trajectory of her life in the United States. So she found a different place abroad that much better served her. And like she said, the fear of the unknown, the fear of the what ifs, the fear of the what people might think. Don't let that stop you from doing something that you want to do. If you feel like you're stagnant or you're stuck in a place, at the end of the day, you have to live with all the decisions you make and you don't make in your life. So don't let others' opinions influence your decision, or don't let that fear also influence your decision. If you're feeling stagnant, go do something new. Figure it out. Find something new. I love that one.
Happiness, and honestly, I'd recommend it to anyone who's considering leaving the United States.
Why the U.S. sucks and you should leave for your own happiness.
Ooh.
I haven't lived long term in the U.S. for about 3 or 4 years, and here's a couple reasons why. First off, fuck cars. They're stupid. You don't need them. Abroad, you can walk everywhere within 5 to 10 minutes. The transportation's better. And in the U.S., if you don't have a car, you're basically shit out of luck because you have to have a car to go anywhere. To meet up with people, to go to the bank, you have to have a car. Abroad, it's not like that. So you end up saving money and you don't get fat because you walk everywhere. It's great. The second reason, friendships and dating has been a lot easier abroad compared to the US. Americans tend to bitch about every single thing, and we're overly sensitive about things that we shouldn't be. Americans really tend to overvalue money in the way that it brings happiness, as opposed to other cultures where they really value family, friendships, and relationships. And of course, money is important, but it's not everything, and I feel that Americans have let it get to their heads, as well as just being overly sensitive about certain topics that you shouldn't be overly sensitive, especially when you're just trying to have a conversation. Abroad, I found that people seek more to understand as opposed to finding reasons to get offended about certain things, and just got kind of sick of it from the US. For dating, men know how to act like men and women know how to act like women. When it comes to chemistry and good foundational relationships, it's really important that men bring masculine energy and women bring feminine energy to the relationship. And abroad, I found that women really appreciate men kind of filling their role and women being happy to fill their role. And that's not to say that men and women aren't equal. It's just we do different things and we provide different things in the relationship. In the US, everybody's trying to do everything all at once, and there's really no avenue for men to be men and women to be women. And in turn, it makes the relationships a lot weaker and a lot more convoluted than it needs to be. I've dated both, and I always prefer women abroad just because they're more attractive to me. Thirdly, it's a lot cheaper to live abroad than it is to live in your home country, the US. Healthcare is fucking expensive, gas is expensive, where if you don't need a car, you don't need to pay for gas. The dollar goes further everywhere else in every other country except for the US. And if you bring the dollar to another country, you're basically increasing your class status without really changing anything about it, besides your physical location. In America, I'm middle class. In South America, I'm upper class. All I did was change locations and my life got better. I have the same job, I earn the same, nothing about it is different. So if you can just physically move yourself to another country and live out of there, your life gets better because you have more to work with because you earn more, technically. So if you work online,
I like kind of hearing this from his perspective. He's got a lot of good points here. He got a lot of good points. He trying to convince me. I was almost convinced. But yeah, he said relationships are different. Friendships definitely different. Mindset completely different. Whereas money is still important. It's still valued, but it's not valued over friendship. It's not valued over relationships. It's not valued over these type of things. Dating, saying men can be men, women can be women here. Everybody's trying to be everything, so it doesn't give them an avenue for a man to be a man or a woman to be a woman. And so he's got a lot of points in here.
gets better because you have more to work with because you earn more, technically. So if you work online and your physical location doesn't matter, living elsewhere is just going to save you more money as well as increasing your class status and your lifestyle, which is great.
This is America, Lois. Men have always run things, and there have never been any problems whatsoever. And don't say the economy or Iraq or income inequality or racism or Brett Kavanaugh or air pollution or Vietnam or slavery or Watergate or capitalism or Me Too or homelessness or police brutality or homophobia or Monica Lewinsky or school shootings or Native American genocide or Fox News or Tim Allen or climate change.
Oh, he gave such a long list. He gave such a long list. But Peter was right.
Or Native American genocide, or Fox News, or Tim Allen, or climate change.
He forgot healthcare.
Well, then why did you do all this? Because you fucking shot me, Daniel.
Hey, what's up, America? Want to hear something funny? Rent prices have increased in the United States so much that 5 million people have now left here to go to Mexico because rent prices are tolerable down there. So people in the United States are actively fleeing the United States to go down to Mexico for cheap rent, risk some very hard criminal activity just to get by. So what would you do? Would you be involved in going to Mexico to escape high rent and gas prices? Typically, I would say no, but I don't know. It's looking a little more attractive nowadays, don't you think?
Now that high rent, he's not lying about that. Rent literally is going up every couple months. I feel like rent is going up. I know every time I re-sign my lease, it's higher and it's higher and it's higher. And I'm like, dang, if I would have found this apartment in the beginning at the price that I'm paying for it now, I would have never signed a lease here. I would have never signed a lease here. It just keeps going up. At this point, I don't be wanting to move because it's like, I'm going to have to move all my stuff, and that's a hassle. But, yeah, he wasn't lying. Gas prices, I feel like comparatively, America has cheaper gas prices than most other countries. But I know most other countries they rely more on public transportation to walk into places, whereas we do rely on cars. Keep it rolling.
But I don't know. It's looking a little more attractive nowadays, don't you think?
I haven't done a story time in a while, but it's bank holiday and I'm feeling generous, so let's start from the top. In 2019, I had come to a place where I was working for my company in a specific region for almost 8 years. And I was really looking for what is my next chapter and what is my next move. I got the absolutely incredible opportunity to move to the UK, specifically London, with my job on a global mobility contract to go from managing the Caribbean in cosmetics and beauty and whatnot to managing the UK and Ireland, Republic of Ireland. Sad to say, I landed October 2019, and we all know what happened in March 2020. So after many transformations of the company and whatnot, I kind of realized it was actually my time to leave the company as a whole, and had already decided that I was going to look outside of the company the following October. But Farfetch, the company I'm with now, reached out to me on LinkedIn, and all during this time I met my now partner. Now I am officially settling as a Londoner.
Hey y'all,
so dope. So she moved because of her job. The pandemic hit. She saw the way that her company was going. Decided she didn't want to be a part of it anymore. Got reached out to by a new company. Found her life partner, and now she's settling life in London. And I think that's incredible. I think that's awesome.
Now I am officially settling as a Londoner.
Hey y'all, I'm Mademoiselle, and I'm a black expat in Jamaica. So I moved to Jamaica like in the summer of 2020, kind of during the height of the pandemic. Basically, as soon as Jamaica opened their borders back up, I hit that plane track. All right, so yeah. So basically, I've been living here for almost 2 years now. I feel like it's one of the best decisions I have ever made. I have my process somewhat documented on my YouTube channel, and I have started an expat community here of black people who are looking to move to Jamaica or return to Jamaica. It's been a phenomenal experience, and I encourage anybody who has the opportunity or the privilege to go and live somewhere else, please do it. Okay, even if it's, just for a short period of time. Again, it'll just open your whole world up and it'll change your life. Okay, so why I decided on Jamaica? Well, it's Jamaica. All right, I got the food, I got my peoples, them. All right, I got the culture. It's sunny the majority of the time. Beautiful weather, beautiful place. It's everything to me. Okay. And moving abroad or moving to a different country, no, it's not for everybody. But if you're somebody who's like myself and who needed to get out of America, okay, for whatever reason that may be, and Africa is too far out of reach for you, I think the Caribbean is somewhere to consider, okay? Yes, there's a whole lot of flack about Jamaica. Yes, you know, you're going to have negative press and views about anywhere that you go. But I heavily advise that you come and experience places for yourself and not rely on Western media and all them things to explain to you what's going on in these other places. Y'all see?
I do agree with that. I do believe you should go experience. If you're thinking about it, if you want to, if traveling is something you truly want to do, like go experience things. Go outside of your bubble. Get uncomfortable. Go to different places because you never know when you're gonna happen upon a place that you might love more than where you're living now or where you're at now, and you might want to be there. For her in Jamaica, she said sunshine, culture, people's there. Like it's just the right spot for her, and she's a lot happier, and that's what it's about, guys. Finding what's gonna make you happy. If it's not here in America, then you have to go out and search, and don't be afraid to do that. But like I said, you only get one life. You gotta live it to the fullest.
To explain to you what's going on in these other places. Y'all see how they control the narrative about us? Don't let them control the narrative about other places. If you would like to experience living somewhere else, if you are thinking about moving to Jamaica, I have Black Expats and Repats in Jamaica on Facebook. I have consultation services, and I'm also Mocha on all social media platforms, all right? So if it's something you're thinking about, feel free to reach out. All right, I have a wonderful team who's here to help, and I love Jamaica, all right? Jamaica not get rid of me. You see me? All right, so let me know what you think. Are you thinking about moving abroad? What's up? Tell me what's going on.
Tell me what's going on. I love that. That's all we got for this one. If you guys got a favorite video you want to see me react to, you can subscribe to Patreon or in the description section there's a Google form link. Hit the link, fill out your suggestions, send it to me. Want me to get to yours faster, fill out premium. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, ring notification bell, give the video a thumbs up so it gets suggested. Social media, Patreon, all up top. You're subscribed to any of it. Put all the links in the description. All you got to do is hit the link, follow me, talk to me. Love talking to you guys. You guys are the most incredible team on YouTube. It's your boy Neal. Out.